What's up, my dudes? Finally, MX Bikes is actually to the point where I feel like I can get on a track, start running laps on it without having some weird, janky, buggy physics feeling that, you know, just kind of makes the whole experience feel weird and make me not really want to play the game very much and really get into it. Some, you know, little weird physics bug that makes me pop off the bike for no reason or makes me flip over the bike for no reason. Finally, they have got these physics to a point where it just feels nice. You just get into the game, you start riding around a track, you don't have any, you know, weird little shit going on, really. I'm not saying they've totally fixed everything, obviously, but it is much better than the last time I played it. The easiest way to explain it is, like, whenever you wreck in the game now, it actually feels like it's something that you did on the bike, like a, you know, your own error to cause you to crash in the game, instead of some weird little buggy, janky front-end dive knife, you know, some sort of unpolished physics system that is causing you to wreck. Now it actually feels more like, you know, it's your fault when you wreck in the game. So that's a really good feeling to the game now. It's not so annoying, you know what I mean? They've polished up on a few of those little weird, buggy, janky physics things with the game, and I'm not saying they fixed everything all the way, right? Obviously, but it is definitely better than it was before. And just to explain one little thing right here, okay, I know some of you guys have this idea that I'm like this super MX Bikes hater, and I only love MX Simulator, and that's why I try to trash on MX Bikes and try to be negative about MX Bikes because I don't want it to, you know, overtake MX Simulator or whatever kind of crazy idea some of you boys have. You know, I'm so terrible for the community. Anytime I say anything negative about MX Bikes, I'm just a terrible person. Oh my God, what am I doing? It's just like, listen, you do realize I just bought a second copy of MX Bikes on Steam, okay? Strictly to support the game. That's the only reason I did it. I already had the, you know, OG version of MX Bikes that before the game was ever on Steam, and I just went in there and bought a whole nother $35 version of it on Steam just to support this kind of motocross game, just to come in here and support another one of these small motocross gaming developers. That's why I bought it. You got to understand, when I come in here and criticize MX Bikes, or I complain about it, or say this aspect could be better, or that certain thing is better in MX Simulator, or whatever the case may be, so many of you guys get this weird idea in your head that I'm like trying to just shit on the game, be terrible for the community. I'm such a bad guy. I can't accept anything. It's like, bro, you do realize the whole reason I'm criticizing the game is because I want to see the game succeed, right? You do realize that, right? If I just didn't give a shit about the game and just thought it was terrible and there was just no future in it, no point to it, I wouldn't even be making videos on it, period. Like, you dudes get that so twisted in your head. So anyways, I just wanted to say, I'm all for MX Bikes, bro, but I've just been waiting this whole time that it's been in all these different betas, through all these different development cycles. I didn't want to get into the game too quick, too deep, too quick, and dedicate too much time into it, and then some new beta come out and totally change everything with the physics of the bike. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put that time into the game, and then something drastically change, and then it was pointless me putting all that time into it. I've been waiting on MX Bikes to get to a certain point where it's just more of a smooth, natural, they finally got the physics to a certain okay level in my mind, right? And it's just crazy. I mean, some people were trying to compare MX Bikes to MX Simulator back in, like, MX Bikes beta fucking 7 and shit. It's like, bro, MX Bikes is not even a fully finished and developed physics system. Like, stop trying to act like it's some fully finished, developed simulator and you can compare it to MX Simulator. Like, stop doing that. That's so stupid. It does not make any sense. People were trying to make the argument that, MX Bikes was like so much better than MX Simulator all the way back in MX Bikes Beta 9. I mean, it was crazy. So now we're on MX Bikes Beta 14 ABCDZ, and they're finally getting it to a cool level, in my opinion. It's finally starting to feel like they've done something with between like Beta 13, 14, and I know they have multiple different betas within a 13 or a 14, right? They have like Beta 14B, Beta 14C, all that different shit. But somewhere along the lines in there, they have improved specifically on that, whenever you will overjump something or underjump something, it doesn't have that weird feeling anymore like it used to have where it's like the front end just could not stay straight. Like, as soon as you would land on something or come up short, it's like the front end would just try to jackknife and you would just instantly fall over or feel weird, like the bike tries to steer itself off of the track whenever you land, even remotely hard on a landing at all. It's like they've added some sort of extra stability into the physics system of it in some kind of a way it just feels so much more natural now when you're landing on jumps and jumping down into, I don't know what all they've added, but it just feels better in every way to me personally. It just feels more like a smooth, normal, natural experience when you're going around the track. It doesn't feel so janky and just a bunch of little weird, buggy fillings to the physics. So that's really made me happy about it. And so, yeah, who knows, man? I'm starting to get into it a little bit now because and even the whole, when you try to whip it in the air now, it's like they've made it to where it's like where your dude's actually looking doesn't just go in some crazy area. I don't even know how to explain it really, but the whipping feels better to me now. It feels like you can land a little bit sideways and it doesn't just totally shoot you off of the side of the track. Kind of goes back to that original. They had some kind of a bug, I'm telling you, for the longest time where that front end would just not stay stabilized properly and it would just jackknife and fling you off the side of the track or instantly cause you to lay the bike over every time you even remotely land, hard at all or anything. So they've definitely improved on that aspect of it, and it just makes the gameplay so much better, so much more enjoyable. It just feels like a more completed, smooth experience now. You can at least attempt to start trying to whip the bike, and it doesn't feel super janky and weird. And, they've been through the process trying to make the way the camera will move when you're trying to throw a whip and when you land the bike sideways and, it feeling more natural. It's like they've improved on all of that kind of feeling to the game. And the leaning forward and backwards feels better to me now. I don't know what all they've changed. It just feels better in every way, So I think they're finally starting to get to that point where me personally, I finally want to, start dedicating some time to it and start getting into it. That's why I haven't done that this whole time. I know some of you guys have been like, Spencer, if you just play the game more, you'll see these certain things. Spencer, you just got to play the game more, dude. Get into the game. You don't even play the game. Don't talk about the game if you don't, play it 1,000 hours every single night. Don't talk about the game. It's like, bro, I'm not going to get into a whole nother dirt bike simulator when I've already completely 100%, pro level, top 5 pro on a whole nother simulator. I'm just not going to dedicate that kind of time to another simulator that is not to a certain completed physics level. You understand what I'm saying? And this whole time with MX Bikes, it just has not really been to that level for me personally to want to start dedicating that time into it. Yeah, if you play MX Bikes 1,000 hours every week, you're going to be faster in the game. You're going to get more of a, kind of feeling and understanding of the game and all that. I'm not saying you're not, but I can understand a simulator from getting in there and just playing it for the amount of time that I have played MX bikes. I've not played it a crap load, but I mean, I've played it in just about every beta. You know, I'll get in there and kind of see the changes, see what the bike feels like, and I get a general idea of it, right? Some people act like if you know, even though you could have been the pro of the pro on MX Simulator, if you don't play MX bikes like that, you just don't understand MX bikes at all, and that's stupid. That don't even make sense. I understand motocross simulators, okay? So I'm just saying they have done something, and I think I saw it in one of the new beta, patch notes or whatever. They said something about extra stabilization the slower you're going or whatever. I'm not really sure exactly what it was, but they have fixed that whole issue I've been talking about with MX bikes this whole time. That weird jackknifing, front end turning crap all you boys tried to tell me over the years. Oh, it's just your setup. Just change your setup, bro. Just do something with your setup, dude. And it's funny because I have not changed my setup any, but yet it feels so much better now after these new betas than it did before, because they've actually went in there and improved on the janky, buggy, unfinished physics system to their game. That's what it was. It wasn't just a setup thing, dog. Like, it's more than that when it comes to MX bikes. So either way, I'm going to start getting into it. I'm going to start playing it. We're going to start making a lot more videos on it. And I'm excited, man. I really am. They've made some improvements to the terrain deformation system. They've done quite a bit of stuff, and they're staying on it. They're not just totally leaving the game behind. There for a second, I thought it was getting really slow on the development of MX bikes, but now they're starting to really pick up steam again. So, if we can get some more cool track content, make that track editor easier to use, a couple other little things, man, we got some potential here for sure. So, but yeah, people just get so offended anytime you say anything remotely negative or anything like that about anything, right? When I come in there and say MX Bikes is a little bit more like a arcade simulator hybrid versus, MX Simulator being more like just a full-blown simulator, right? MX Bikes is a lot easier to get into. It's a lot more beginner-friendly than MX Simulator. It's an easier process getting into it, which does tend to make it feel a little bit more arcadey than MX Simulator. And it just is what it is. It's an easier game to get into, period. And there's just more of a natural stabilization. There's more of a overall, I don't even know how to, just an overall more of an arcade game style feeling to MX Bikes than MX Simulator. And people get so offended when I say that. They act like I'm trying to act like MX Bikes is just not a simulator at all. It's just all arcade. It's like, bro, holy shit. It's just an opinion. Chill the hell out. It's crazy how people get, oh, you're a hater, Spencer. You're just terrible for the community. It's like, bro, just coming in here, giving my opinions on a new motocross simulator after having 10,000 plus hours of playing MX Simulator, the main motocross simulator, and I'm just coming in here and giving my opinions on it and giving my take on it. That's all I ever have done. But there's just these certain games and these certain things out there. It is like this cult defensive following where it's just like they will shoot you down instantly if you even think about, saying anything or, trying to criticize anything about the game. It's insane. And it's just funny because all these things I've been saying about MX Bikes has been true all along. I've been saying this whole issue of jackknife front end, weird turning when you come up short or over jump something. I've been saying that forever. And they're finally starting to make that feel better. They're finally starting to make the whip the whip system feel actually more natural and like you can see what you're doing. It's not so janky feeling. I was saying that a long time ago, right? They're starting to make all these leaning forward. The overall physics of it just feels more polished now. It's to a certain polished level now. And it's taken them all this time to do that. Okay? So that was the sort of complaints and the sort of issues I had with the game over the years, is people were trying to act as if MX Bikes was like comparable to MX Simulator all the way back in Beta 5, Beta 7, Beta 9. No, it was not. It was not even close to being comparable. It wasn't even really a smooth experience playing the game back in them days. But now it is starting to get a little more like that, right? That's my whole argument. Like, now that we're to MX Bikes 14, Z or whatever it is, now it is starting. I'm coming out here telling you, yes, now it is more of a smooth, natural, normal experience. Hopping on a new track, hopping into the game, playing the game, it just feels normal now. Whereas before, it just felt so, there was just so many little janky, weird, undeveloped, unpolished feelings to the game. So, but either way, is what it is. MX Bike's feeling good, dog. I like the way, now the cornering, it's just like everything's starting to feel better to me about it. The cornering's starting to feel better, the leaning forward and backwards, the jumping, when you land on something, that kind of that auto stabilization where it, keeps the bike a little more straight when you land. It just feels better in every way now. So, either way, man, MX Bike, she's getting better, boys. She's getting better. So it'll be really cool to see how they improve on the graphics, graphical updates and terrain deformation updates and newer tracks to the game. Going to be really interesting to see because that's really going to, tell the tale when it comes to MX Bikes is how much more track content we get, how that terrain deformation develops, having different compounds of dirts on different tracks. That's really going to... you start getting that simulator physics system, and then you got to start getting, more official, not official, but more from the developer proper-made supercross tracks, from the developer proper-made national tracks and all that. Then it just starts to, then it's multiplayer and getting the multiplayer working better, and then it just goes from there, So, I'm really excited to see how all that goes down. Pretty, now is the time. If you didn't want to just go in there and beta test a simulator, right? Now is the time that you can actually start getting into MX Bikes and it feels more like a completed, more in that completed experience kind of feeling to it. It doesn't feel so beta testing feeling, It now is the time to be able to really start getting into it, in my opinion, because it's starting to really get that more smooth, polish feeling to the feeling on the bike of the game for me personally. Whereas before it just didn't really feel like that. But yeah. And there's still a lot of improvements they can make. Just because I'm saying MX Bikes is getting better and it's a time to get into it and it's starting to feel polished, that doesn't mean everything's perfect, right? There is still some weird little things. There's times where you will literally do a 360 no-scope backflip on the ground beside a tough block and land it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. There's still a few little buggy things. You can still go through any whoop section on any supercross track wide open without even looking. I'm not kidding when I say that. That's really bizarre how the whoops just, I don't know. There's no real left to right potential falling off of the bike. As long as you don't turn and hold that gas wide open on a whoop section on one of these supercross tracks and MX Bikes, the bike is not going to get out of shape. You're not going to fall off the bike. You're not going to crash the bike. You're not going to go flying off the side of the track. It's not going to happen. So I don't know if that's a physics thing or if that's I don't know, but that's just one thing I did notice is you still can go just wide ass open through the whoops every single time without even thinking, without even looking, and you're going to get through the whoop section. So, but not only that, oh my God, the tough blocks, come on now, Piboso, Broso, you got to fix these tough blocks, dog. I just thought that Supercross 3 had bad tough blocks, but oh my God. It is the most concrete of the concrete, instantly pop off, not budge an inch. You get stuck in them. There is so many stupid-ass bugs and problems with the tough blocks this game. They've got to fix that really quickly. And I don't know why there's not just a normal stability slider in the game. I understand they have the whole advanced stability side of the game and everything, but come on now. You need a normal stability slider with advanced stability on top of it. That's just what works in these dirt bike simulators. That's what works in MX Simulator. They had a stability slider for a minute in MX Bikes. Now they don't really have one. Now it's just all advanced stability. You need that base stability slider for people that don't really want to get in there, you know, and tinker and jack with all those little advanced stability settings, but they just want to go in there and have, like, you know, less stability in the game. You need a stability slider in the game, I'm just telling you. Stability and advanced stability in the game. They do still have a couple little things like that they can improve on, you know, and just over time it's just going to get better and better and better. And that's, you know, I feel like now we're starting to get into more of that not so beta feeling, a little bit more like an actual game feeling, you see what I'm saying? So that's what's really cool to me personally about, you know, now, how MX Bikes is now. So either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dude.